Hi everyone, it is Christina Pridie here, better known as the Seamless Knitter here on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Ravelry, and on my website, ptboyarnshop.com. All this information will be linked in the description box below this video. Today's tutorial is about tweaked decreases. I'm going to demonstrate how I take SSK and knit two together to another level so they both match perfectly. So let's get started. Here I have a sleeve that needs to be knit. I have the other one finished and now I've got the second one here to do. So this is the underarm where the decreases will happen. And I'm just going to point out under here, there was 3 underarm stitches that were cast on when we did the setup round to start the sleeve. So the center one is where I want to have a stitch marker. So I'm going to put a stitch marker on that stitch. That's the center one out of the 3. So I will be doing a SSK on this side of the marker and a knit two together on this side of the marker. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what a regular SSK and knit two together look like. And then I'm going to show you how I tweak them so they are matching. So I'm just going to pull out my needles here and my cord. I am using the magic loop technique and I'm using Addy click needles. Okay, so to do an SSK, a regular one, the way most people do them, is where you slip the first stitch off knitwise. So you do slip the second stitch off knitwise, so another slip. So that's slip, slip, and then knit the two together. So you bring your needle in to the stitch, 2 stitches, and you would knit those two together like that. Okay, so to do a knit two together, you would just go into the 2 stitches and knit them as normal and knit those two together. Okay, so there's what you would have if you just did them regular. Okay, so they both look differently and lay differently on the needle. So now I'm going to show you how I've tweaked them. I'm just going to remove them here, put them back in their right orientation. Okay, so how I've tweaked my SSK is I slip the first stitch off knitwise, I slip the second stitch off purlwise, and then I knit them together like that. I'm going to show you again and why this is better. So when I slip this stitch off knitwise and I slip this one off purlwise and knit them together like this, you're going to see that this second stitch will twist on itself at the bottom. The legs will twist at the bottom, which allows it to fold in and lay flatter when the stitches are knit together, and then the top stitch lays nicely on top like that. Okay, so it folds in right there. The stitch is folded in, twisted in under itself. So the knit two together, to match that so that the underneath stitch is twisted, because this is a left leaning decrease and the knit two together is a right leaning decrease, we're going to slip the first stitch off knitwise and put it back on the left hand needle purlwise, and then we're going to knit those two together like that. So I'm going to show you one more time and you're going to see what happens. So this is the stitch that's going to twist underneath itself like the SSK did, when you slip that off knitwise, put it back purlwise. So when I knit those two together, you're going to see that this part is going to twist on itself. Okay, and that is the matching one to the SSK. Okay, so I'm going to take these out and I'm going to show you under the arm, and I'll do one where it belongs. So just take these out. Just have to put them in the right orientation to be able to knit them properly to the underarm. And I'm a flicker, so okay, so I'm going to knit up to 2 stitches before the stitch marker, and that's where I'll do the SSK. Okay, so there's the stitch marker, as you can see, and we're 2 stitches before it. So to do the SSK, we're going to slip one off knitwise, slip the next stitch off purlwise, and then we're going to knit those 2 together. And so that means the underneath stitch, this one under here, has twisted to the left, and the top one stays nice and flat. So now we're going to knit the center underarm stitch, the one with the stitch marker. And now we are going to do the other one, the knit 2 together. So we're going to slip the first stitch off knitwise and put it back on the left hand needles purlwise, and then we're going to knit those 2 stitches together. And so what you're going to see is when you do it, the underneath stitch is twisted, so that you have one twisted to the left and one stitch going to the right. And then you would just knit around your sleeve stitches until you get back to that center where the stitch marker is, and you would do so many rounds of knitting past the decreases, so that you would have maybe 5 more rounds of knitting or whatever your pattern is asking of you, and before you do another decrease. So I just want you to see this up nice and close. So there's the make one left. I'll get my little pointer. Here is the make one left, and the stitch underneath it is twisted. So underneath that one is twisted. Then we had a knit 1, and then we had the knit 2 together, and the one underneath is twisted. So when you see them both and you see these the top knit stitch and this top knit stitch, they're facing right and left. They're nice and flat and they match. So that's my tweaked decreases. So there you have it. If you found this tutorial helpful, please save it to watch later. Share it with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my next tutorial release. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel. Happy knitting.